Hello everyone, this is PotatoLegion here. I've just completed Liza P and I'm going to be ranking every single boss in the game. I'm also going to be showing you guys how many attempts it took me to complete each boss. I'm then going to showcase the final attempt, just the last few seconds, so you can see my reaction to me completing the boss. And then I'm going to be ranking every single boss. So there's 16 actual bosses in the game. There are 2 in the list that are debatable because you don't actually have to do them, but they were difficult enough in my opinion to be classed as a boss. Let's start off this list at number 16. We have the Mad Donkey, and this only took me 1 attempt to complete. This boss was really simple. I wouldn't even class it as a boss. It kind of plays like another player you're facing, as they're the same size as you. You can easily stagger them, and their moveset is very similar to how you are holding a weapon. It's like a PvP kind of boss. Very easy to beat. You shouldn't have any difficulty with this boss whatsoever. Next on the list is number 15, and this is the first boss in the game, the Parade Master. This only took me 2 attempts to beat. Very predictable moveset, very forgiving with the blocking, and it's just a tutorial boss to help you understand the movements. They're very easy to pick up and learn. You will have no problem with this boss whatsoever. Number 14 is the corrupted version of the Parade Master. This also took me 2 attempts. I accidentally misclicked and ended up dying. Otherwise, I would have beaten this boss the first attempt. I was debating putting this actually behind the actual Parade Master itself because it's a lot easier in my opinion, but I feel like that's a bit harsh because you do face this later on and you've got better gear. So I've put it just after it, but to be honest, they're equally as easy. The Corrupted Parade Master gives you so many windows of opportunity to attack it. It is so damn easy to beat it. A lot of you probably beat this boss your first attempt. Now, 13 on the list is the Door Guardian. This is an optional boss. It took me 3 attempts to beat it. I would have beaten it first try, but you'll see here in the clip that I accidentally didn't give it enough room when it fell down when I staggered it. And it killed me because I wasn't paying attention because I'm stupid. And then it took me 2 other attempts to eventually beat it. This boss is very easy to beat. It just has a lot of HP because you have to stagger it to beat it. So bring a weapon that helps you stagger enemies a lot quicker. Its movements are so slow that it's easy to counter block, or you can just dodge and keep hitting. This boss is really easy to beat. At number 12, we've got the King's Flame Fruccio. I've probably butchered that. This boss took me 5 attempts to beat. This boss is very easy to beat as well. A lot of running around and hitting it. It gives you tons of windows opportunity to fight it. This is not like a perfect guard boss where you're constantly blocking because of how aggressive it is. It's very easy to beat once you understand its mechanics. The reason it took me 5 attempts because its flame attacks caught me off guard several times, and it's sort of second phase where it starts shooting can catch you off guard. But once you figure that out and figure out it's more of a hit and run strategy, you'll do just fine with this boss. This boss reminds me a lot of fighting a regular Souls boss. Now, number 11, if I had a list for the most annoying boss in the game, it would go to the Eldest of the Black Rabbit Brotherhood. This took me 6 attempts to beat. What makes this boss so frustrating is the fact that you have to fight multiple enemies within the fight on top of the Eldest constantly attacking you. I actually made a TikTok showing a guide on how to beat this boss, because once you figure it out, it's actually really simple on how to beat it, but it's just annoying because of how many of the other members of the Brotherhood keep attacking you. Come on, charge me, big boy, not you! Fucking die! Yes! Yes! Number 10 on this list is the Scrapped Watchman, and I would debate that this is the actual first boss that you go against. This took me 7 attempts to beat. This boss can be quite unforgiving, especially at the start of the game. His second phase with the electricity where he puts down the mines will catch you off guard. He's extremely aggressive, has tons of red moves that you have to perfect guard, and is a very unforgiving boss. One of the most fun bosses in a game to verse, and very unforgiving. It will take you a lot of attempts to beat this boss, and honestly, one of the hardest starting up. Come on! Fucking kill him! Fucking kill him! Die, beast! Yes! Fuck you! Number 9, we're back at the Black Rabbit Brotherhood again. This is the second time you face them. This was only 4 attempts for me to beat them. This is easier because even though you're dealing with all 3 of them, once you get used to the fact you only fight 1 at a time. They only come at you 1 at a time, and the other 2 will throw things at you during that fight. But if you just dodge when you hear them throw things, it's very easy, and you can easily backstab all 3 of them. And if you're smart, you need to make sure that you take out all 3 of them at the exact same time, because the second there's 1 left, the big brother will then spawn. So if you take out all 3 before he spawns, then it's just 1-on-1, and he's extremely easy to beat. He's far easier than his counterpart. That's why I've put them at number 9. Let's fucking go! Just me and you now, big boy. Let's dance. Move! No! Oh my god, move. Get away from him. Number 8. Now, you guys will probably kill me for this one, but I really struggled with the Walker of Illusions. This isn't actually a boss, it's a mini boss, but because of how difficult I found it, I've decided to put it at number 8. My list, I'll do what the hell I want. This took me 10 attempts to beat, and the reason why I found this so annoying, because of how aggressive it is, has constant unblockables, it is insanely fast, and when it duplicates itself and keeps attacking you, I found that very, very annoying. There is no real window of opportunity to fight this boss, and it really didn't help that I was carrying a big weapon at the time, and it took me 10 attempts to beat it. Currently on the list, this took me the most attempts to beat, and I found it at number 8 is a nice spot for it. Number 7, I put Champion Victor. This took me 7 attempts to get to the second phase, and once I did, I immediately beat him because his second phase is an absolute joke. His first phase is actually far harder than his second phase because he's way more aggressive and way more faster, whereas in his second phase, he's extremely slow but does more damage and he's easier to predict. This boss is very unforgiving and can do a lot of damage very quickly, but once you get the muscle memory of his attacks and you're perfect guarding it, he is very easy to beat. And I think 7th place for him is perfect because I got 7 attempts to beat him. Come on, big boy, time to die! Yeah, and what, mate? And what? Ooh, let's go. I've put the Nameless Puppet at number 6, and honestly, I was debating putting this one a little bit lower down the list. The reason why it's kind of high up is because of how aggressive this boss is and the muscle memory you need to learn to pick up this boss. Because it's the very last boss in the game, you are definitely at your peak, you're at your best in the game, and you're going to find this boss a little bit easier. But if you fought this boss earlier on, it would be very, very difficult to beat, in my opinion. Very unforgiving with the blocks. You have to perfect guard basically every attack. It has tons of attacks that can be extremely fatal. It does tons of damage, and it has 2 phases, making it extremely hard to beat. This boss took me 1 attempt to get it to its second phase, and then 4 attempts afterwards to officially beat it. Let's go! Yes! Next on the list is Simon at number 5, the Awakened God. I got to the second phase in the first attempt. Its first phase is an absolute joke, extremely easy. Arguably the easiest first phase in the game. Very predictable, slow movements, just easy to beat. Its second phase, however, is an absolute nightmare with the constant weird attacks, the hand coming down with AoE, He's extremely aggressive. He's basically like a Souls boss with all of his powers and magic flying around everywhere. He's the first boss to really demonstrate weird magical Souls-like powers. Very, very difficult boss to beat in the second phase. Very unforgiving. This took me 16 attempts total to eventually beat this boss. Very, very hard boss. But it's surprising that he's not the hardest boss in the game, considering he is essentially the end game boss, because you don't have to fight the Nameless Puppet, so he would be the end game boss. Fuck you! So, number 4 on the list. This is where it gets tough. The fallen Archbishop Andreus. I heard a lot of people come into my chat telling me this boss was a nightmare for them, and I can see why. It took me 1 attempt to get to the second phase and then 16 attempts total to beat it. Once you figure out its movements, which can be quite difficult because of how aggressive it is, and the fact that it's got a second phase and it's very early on, I think that's what makes it difficult. It's not that crazy hard to beat. Its moveset is very similar to the first phase, but it takes a while to figure it out because there's so much going on. His attacks are very aggressive, they're very unforgiving, and a very difficult boss for somebody who's only just started the game. I think he's like the 3rd or 4th boss in the game. Very, very hard to beat. Took me a total of 16 attempts to beat this boss, and I think 4th place is a very fair place to put this boss. Yes. At number 3, I've got the green monster of the swamp, and this is where this list gets insanely hard. The next 3 bosses are just monsters. It took me 3 attempts to get this boss to the second phase, and then 25 attempts total to beat it. So it took me another 22 attempts to beat this boss. Its second phase is an absolute monster. First phase is very easy. Once you understand its moveset, it's not that hard to beat, and you can use the fire element to do insane damage to get to that second phase. Its second phase is so unpredictable, it's so manic, it jumps around everywhere, it has insanely fast attacks, it's got a nasty grab, it is really disgusting to beat. That's why it deserves number 3 on my list. Let's fucking go.
I knew you'd do it. Finally, the last hero weapon is in my hands.
Number 2 on the list. This boss was a damn nightmare. Laxasia the Complete. This took me 6 attempts to get her to her second phase, and then 27 attempts to finally beat. And I'm telling you, out of those 27 attempts, I probably only got her to her second phase about 6 or 7 times, because her first phase is a damn monster. Insane amount of moves, loads of unblockables, so many unforgiving electric attacks. She has a grab as well, which can basically attack you from the entire map. I was running to the other side of the map to try and avoid this damn grab, and she was still kicking my ass from 10 years away. Don't even be started on her second phase, where she literally contacts 4 from the damn Avengers, and she becomes the god of lightning, and she kicks your absolute ass. Her attacks are insanely unforgiving. She's got loads of range attacks. She's insanely fast. You cannot fight her close quarters because she's just insanely quick. Loads of unblockables. Just a nutty boss to face, and easily deserves the second place on the list. Yes! Oh!
Only you.
I thought I was done. I thought I was done, man. Oh, new weapon, best weapon. Yes! My heart. That is... Oh, I need to breathe. Woo! Bring the heart rate down. It's like boom, 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 boom. Now, we get to easily the hardest boss in this game. Romeo, King of Puppets. I felt like a king once I beat this boss. It took me 8 attempts to get to this boss's second phase. But no. It easily took me another 10 to get back to the second phase and actually master it. I reckon it took me about 20 attempts just to get past the first phase. And then when I did, I just got my ass kicked by this second phase, non-stop. It took me 46 attempts total, and I made sure to count that perfectly. 46 attempts. This boss is insanely difficult, and it's like midway of the game. It's not even near the end of the game. It's like midway, so you don't have the best equipment. You know, you're not that strong, and this boss just kicks your absolute ass. The first phase is extremely unforgiving. It starts off with sort of goes into a rage mode on the first half, so it starts off really easy, but then it gets insanely difficult. Its moves are basically cross maps. You have to perfect guard it or dodge it perfectly. It has tons of attacks that can catch you off guard. It has that missile attack that it pushes you into deliberately, which can basically insta-kill you. And then if you manage to beat that first phase, you then have to fight Romeo, who's this insanely fast, unforgiving beast. You cannot run away from him because he's just too quick. He can put fire on the floor, which you run into. He has tons of unblockables. He dances around the map like an absolute king of puppets. He's just insane. And then when you think you might be able to beat him, oh no. In half health, he lights his blade on fire. And it's a relentless fury of attacks. You're not dodging this. There's no running away. There's no running away. There's no rolling away. You have to perfect guard all of these attacks. If you don't perfect guard it, you're dead. He just kills you. Because if you block it, you'll lose your block. Because he will break your guard and he will just kill you. You have to perfect guard this set of attacks. Luckily for me, you can actually stop him if you stun him during this phase. And that's what I did. And I eventually beat him. And you'll see my reaction is just absolutely insane for this boss. I think a lot of people will probably agree with me that Romeo was by far the hardest boss in this game and one of the hardest bosses in all of the Souls series. Very, very unforgiving boss and caused me so much heartache and really fun boss at the same time.
Will have changed too, right?
Oh my god.
There's only one way to find out. Let's go backstage.
Yes! Thank god I put that chainsaw on! Oh. My whole body got so... I saw his HP this low and I kid you not, the adrenaline, I fucking felt it. And I was like, I am not dying. I am not dying here. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this list. If you agree with me or not. If you've actually managed to complete the game. Is there a boss in this game that managed to make you quit the game? Because a lot of people I know have actually given up on the game because they just found it way too difficult. So let me know which boss that was. I'm going to guess a lot of you just went, screw this. I'm going to go play Animal Crossing when you saw King of Puppets. I don't blame you. I literally had to take a break. I was just done. I was like, I'm done. And I came back the next day and tried again. And I eventually beat him. So yeah, I totally get it. But anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this ranking list. If you want to do more ranking list of games like this in the future, do let me know. And I'm looking forward to reading your comments on which boss you found the hardest. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Take care, everyone. Peace out.
私の名は吉良義景、年齢33歳。自宅は森王町北東部の別荘地帯にあり、結婚はしていない。